Hey guys, so today we are going to be doing a tier list for the DOKKANFEST TURs that are in the game right now. You can see at the bottom of the screen here, we have our 10 candidates for the certain tier list that we're going to be looking at. The top 10 TURs, like I said. You know, all the usual disclaimers about tier lists. It's all about, it's all subjective to my opinion and as well as my experience using them within the game. The thing that I'm going to value the most is defensive consistency, as well as just all in all, like, utility, right? One thing that I value above most things is the defensive utility, but if you can put up some offensive output, that is very impressive, and also kind of hang on defensively, that does count for one thing. I don't like a jack of one trade and a complete 0 in one, right? Like a master of one thing and then being completely terrible at one, right? I like that balance, and so most of these units are going to have some of that, but some of these units are going to be more one-sided. Like Gamma 1 is more defensive focused, you know, and then there's someone like Junior who's a little bit more offensive focused who's on this list. So keep that in mind. One of the big shifts in the game right now is the debut of the 9th anniversary LRs, most specifically the Beast Gohan leader skill. So let's just talk about it real quick so we all are on the same page. This leader skill is going to become a factor as we go through the video, and we have superheroes, Master of Student Bond, or Bond Master and Disciple, excuse me, and Miraculous Awakening. So those three categories are going to count for the most things, but it's not going to be the be all end all for the tier list, but it is a bonus if you are going to be on it. So with all that being said, if you agree with today's list or you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you are new around here, as we post Dokkan every day when we tried to, almost every day at this point. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into our number 10 spot. And at my number 10 spot, I have Intma Jr. Now, Intma Jr., I am a huge fan of this unit. When I say you're a top 10 TUR in the game, it is a compliment. So keep that in mind. You might prefer somebody else over him or under him, but that is okay. That's why we're talking about it, right? So Intma Jr., right? You look at the leader skills right away. Earthbred Fighters, that's a good one. Or look at the categories he's on, excuse me. Terrifying Conquerors needs some work. Battle of Fate is pretty good, but there's a lot of options on that category. Entrusted Will is nice, but the problem with that for Beast Gohan is it's only the 30% and it's not on the 200%, right? So like the final trump card team that's mostly led by like the Boo duo and stuff like that, it's just not going to be the best setup for a team. So we do have to keep that in mind. And another thing I don't love about this this Junior here is his leader skill, right? Like Prodigious Warriors, dead team. Giant Form, dead team. Terrifying Conquerors, borderline dead team. Like, if we pull up this team, let's look at some of the usable options within the game right now, right? And yeah, it's like you got Junior. Vegeta and Nappa are okay, but I'm not going to call them like runnable. The cooler rotation is okay, but not for 9th Annie content. It's very tough. You got to have other slot 1 units in front of them. Golden Frieza is still very good for short form content, but the 9th anniversary did bring forward a lot of content that isn't just like 4 turns anymore. LR Baby is okay. This Frieza is very good. He'll be on the list later. This banner unit Frieza is okay. I don't know the name of you. Can I pull this up? But he's kind of a stud, low key. Booyan. Booyan is kind of the homie. He's pretty good. And this chilled EZA also has potential, but he needs an orb changer. So we will keep that in mind, but Booyan and chilled are not going to be on this list, so no worries there. But like I said, just Intma Jr.'s leader skill I don't love, but obviously being the World Tournament King has to count for something. In this lens, not really, but I will give him bonus points. And then he also has the ability to be effective against all types against one enemy. He has that giant form, which can potentially take away supers from the enemy, which is obviously very nice. Attack and defense plus 20 with each attack performed. So, you know, you're doing 3 to 4 supers, you're getting crits, you're doing a ton of damage. You have that chance to stun. The AoE active skill against multiple enemies is nice, but the problem is there's just not that many hard fights with multiple enemies right now. And AoEs being a prominent part of the Gogeta fight is going to make things very tricky for this Junior. So I like him, but 10 is as high as I'm going to go. And that means for number 9, I'm sure most of you can predict, it's going to be his Golden Week counterpart at 23rd World Tournament Goku. Now, 23rd World Tournament Goku, I had at a very high spot on the list for a very long time, but I think that it's time to kind of move on from this guy in terms of being like the best TUR in the game. He did have a good run, but his leader skill is very good, right? We have Warriors, Earthbred Fighters, and Powerful Comeback is his leader skill, and then Battle of Fate or World Tournament category. The 200% is okay, but I really like Earthbred Fighters as well as Battle of Fate, and then Powerful Comeback with Battle of Fate is a nice combination and a very like good leader skill, right? With that 200%. Are you taking this guy into the Cell Max fight, putting him slot 1 and expecting him to tank? No, but he is a nice utility unit if you have other characters on the team that have revival skills. and you can kind of take advantage of that and get this guy into his god mode when he is in, like I said, when he is in the post revival mode. This 23rd World Tournament Goku is extremely impressive. Like, after you get that revival, he becomes like a whole new beast, right? He is, no pun intended. He is very, very solid, and he can hold it down, right? But 9th inning content, like I said, it really did a ton of units dirty. There's a lot of favoritism towards the superhero LRs and stuff like that, and it's really, that's what that content is scaled for. So like when you think about units like this, there's not really many TURs that could just go in and straight up dominate the game quite like the way the new LRs for the 9th Annie can. So keep that in mind when we are looking at these guys. But I like his defensive utility, his guard. He has attacks effective against all types with the one enemy. Like I said, a high chance of nullifying Ki Blast supers is cool, but there's not a ton of Ki Blast supers in the game right now. High chance of guarding. The guard is nice. The defensive utility is there, and the consistency with this guy I like, because I feel like more often than not he is guarding for me. So that is where I like this guy a decent bit. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on. And at number 8, I have the Int Androids. Now, the Int Androids are very good, but where are you at? Here we are. Their leader skill, I don't love, but as a Universe 7 leader, I do love them. The Universe 7 team is just missing that one last piece, or maybe two last pieces, to really kind of solidify themselves as like a top 4, top 5 team in the game. And honestly, right, they honestly might already be there. If we look, let me kind of move you up a bit, sorry. We'll obviously be talking about him later, but the reps of U7, you look at this team right here, and it's like 1 unit you're running at all times, 2 units you're running at all times, 3 units you're going to be running at all times, 4 units you can run. I guess this would be the 4th unit you'd always run on this team right now, and then the 5th unit would be the Int Androids wherever they're at, right here. Right, so it just comes down to that 6th spot, and right now, it's like, I guess it's Kaioken Blue Goku. That's your safest bet, probably. So again, it's just missing that 6th unit. But if we get some type of easy A for, I don't even like, is there really even easy A that's going to be game changing at this point? It's like 17 and Golden Frieza could be good with their damage reduction. But it's just like, you would need a new Dokkan Fest, I think, to really push this team to the top. And right now it just doesn't have that. So we have to keep that in mind. But I do like their leader skill. I don't think it's bad, but I definitely think it could be better. But that's where the tournament participants comes in, right? So that's where you can slide in a 23rd World Tournament Goku, or you could slide in a Junior in that 6th spot to give you that 6th unit that you might need. They're not going to fit in well, but at least you can run the team that way, right? But what makes these guys so good is the fact that they have the unit super attack when there is a Goku around. So UI Goku is going to take care of that for you, and you're going to get a 100% attack and defense raise, and then an additional, this is 30, I believe this is for all allies is what you get right here, plus an additional attack and reduces damage received by 30%. Yeah, so they get 35% damage reduction on super attack. They get a high chance of performing a critical hit with 7 or more key spheres, and then they're getting this, what is it called? There's the 2-turn support, right? That is what these guys are doing, which is pretty crazy, all things considered. It's right here, excuse me. We get the allies attack and defense plus 35% for 2 turns on the unit super attack. That was what I was trying to get to, but I don't know why I can't talk. English is hard, but that is what these guys are bringing to the table. And I think, like I said, if this team just had like that 1 more unit for Universe 7, this guys would probably be a little bit higher. But I do really like this unit. I think they're phenomenally designed. It's just they are a bit restricted to the Universe 7 team. But the Universe 7 team with Goku around is not going to be a problem whatsoever. We just looked at the category, and there's 2 UI Gokus and a Goku and Vegeta right now that are in the game that work just fine for this team. So I think this is probably a good spot for them. You could probably move them up to like 7 or 6, but right now I like them at number 8. So let's go ahead and move on to number 7, and that is the Gohan and Piccolo. So this is going to be the first unit that we talk about, or Piccolo and Gohan. This is going to be the first unit that we've talked about so far that is going to be sliding on to the Beast Gohan leader skill, which, as I've said, is very important, right? They are on the 200% as well, because they have Bond, Master, and Disciple, and then they have Entrusted Will. So if we look at the revival condition, when HP is 70% below its start of turn from the 7th turn, or from the 7th turn, an ally participating in the attack is KO'd, right? So someone else gets KO'd. I believe that's how that would be, how you get the revival. So if someone else takes the KO shot for this Gohan, you go into them, and then they are solid, right? If we pull up the Gohan version, we can talk about this now. We have attack and defense plus 100% performing a super attack if HP is 58% or higher, which isn't bad. Oh, so we get attack and defense plus 200%, I'm sorry, when we are above 58% HP. And for the first turn after you see it, we get attack and defense plus 300% when launching a super attack and has a guaranteed crit. Then from the third turn from the appearance, that's each, so it's like the next time you see them, they become effective against all types. They're giving ki, and then when you're facing a pure Saiyan, that's super easy at the moment. There's a lot of fights with pure Saiyans in the game with the Supreme Battle Spectacle. Category enemy, great chance of performing a critical hit, so that's good. And then when there's an ally whose name includes Goku on the team, which will be super easy again, because the superhero team has a bunch of Goku options. For the first turn from appearance, they have guaranteed dodges, and then they have a high chance to dodge. So this Gohan is going to become a little bit, I wouldn't say inconsistent, because he has the high chance, right? So he has the 50% chance to dodge and then has the guaranteed dodges on that first turn. So he will be kind of acting like a pseudo UI Goku, I think. Like, I'm not to say that he is as good by any means, but it is to say that he has the kind of like, he has like the skeleton that AGL UI Goku's EZA has, where he has the guaranteed dodging on that specific turn where he after gets the ally and stuff like that. He's also providing support. He's getting a ton of attack and defense from procs like that. Like you could see right here from the first turn right here, we have attack and defense plus 300% on the super attack. And then we also have an additional 200% right here if HP is 58% or higher. So you're just going to be getting a ton of buffs just looking at that. And then, like I said, when you look at the teams, you have a very solid kind of core here, Bond Master and Disciple and Entrusted Will. So being on Beast Gohan's 200%, I am a fan of that. And honestly, it makes me think that they should be a bit higher, but right there is where I like that spot, because again, the base form, that is, you're not always going to be in that form. So I think that Gohan portion is good. And then when you kind of look here, we'll go back to the Gohan and Piccolo version. We're giving support right here. So like the 30%, so 30% support to the Gohan. That's around when they're in the third slot, they're going to be giving additional support to superclass allies. Then they're going to have this revival. Then they have, what's it called? An HP 70% or more. If you put them in slot 2, they'll have damage reduction if you need to put them in a defensive role. They just have a lot of versatility, I think, and all in all, that is what makes them very good. So let's go ahead and move on to our number 6 spot, and that is going to be AGL First Form Frieza. Now, AGL First Form Frieza is brand new. If I can pull him up, where are we at? Leader skill, not great. Actually, I'd be willing to say it's ass. Planetary Destruction or Space Traveling Warrior. Space Traveling Warrior, I guess, has a little bit of hope in the future, I'd say. There are some core EZAs that we could potentially be looking at in the near like year or so. We have this AGL Full Power Frieza, who could potentially be EZAing at Worldwide or Anniversary in 2025. We've got this S-Tech Jiren, who's an EZA Limbo, but we'll eventually get it, so we'll see how that goes. He could potentially be really good, because Space Traveling Warriors at one point was a pretty fun team to run. Like, you had a core of this Bojack as the leader. You would run Jiren with, like, the Int Topo. That would be your rotation to make Jiren look as good as possible. And then, if you were a whale, you'd run STR Turles with his TUR. Or you would just run STR Turles with like AGL Turles, but by the time AGL Turles got his EZA, that team had kind of seen its days, right? It wasn't exactly geared for the red zone. But then you have units like Turles, and then you have, I believe it's Amon and Raisin is the int one, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the name of this one? Sorry if I mixed it up, but I don't think I did. Yeah, I got it right. So it's like this team is okay. You have Int Shilai, who could work out, but she's not phenomenal. She has one role, and it's just a dodge. So if dodge gets disabled at any point in a hard fight, it's curtains for her. So keep that in mind. But what I like about this Frieza is just the attack that he can do is fairly impressive. He's just not a slot 1 unit, right? He has when there are 2 or more Space Traveling Warrior allies for 5 turns, he gets attack and defense plus 100%, and then launches an additional attack with a high chance for it to be a super attack. We have the attack and defense 150 as well as key 3 to start a turn. An additional attack and defense plus 150 when attacking, on top of the 30% defensive raise that he's getting with the 30% attack raise that he's getting on super attack. And then he's also going to be greatly lowering the enemy's attack, which is nice. Then additional defense plus 20%, and then additional crit chance for the Conquest of Terror team. So you really just want to run this guy on Terrifying Conquerors. I see the, what's it called? I'll get to the point in a minute. We have an additional 100% attack plus 100% and launch an additional super attack in the next turn after performing 5 or more attacks. So we're looking around like turn 5 is where that's always going to be like 100, like you're basically always going to be seeing that. And then we have attack and defense plus 100% and critical chance when there's a pure Saiyan category enemy. And then we have a guaranteed super when there's a low class warrior enemy. So that's kind of a whole lot of nonsense. The pure Saiyan part is good, but the low class warrior part, there's not really that many good low or hard low class warrior fights in the game right now. But what I like about this guy is also his active skill that has an action break, and his link set is very good for like a, so if we look for his link set is very good for like a Wicked Bloodline unit, right? But if we show more of his linking partners here with Dokkan Info, we can hit this. We could see he's got links with this cooler. We have the full power Friezas and stuff like that. If this full power Frieza gets an EZA, This Frieza, he sucks. Don't worry about him. He's whatever. But like, if this guy just had a team, I think his skeleton would be extremely good because this guy just screams like an amazing slot 2 unit. And if you see the damage numbers he's putting up, it is fairly impressive. So keep that in mind. I think this guy has a lot of potential, but I think now that I think about it, after I've kind of talked about it, I like this. I like the Revival Gohan and Piccolo above Frieza because Frieza just does not have his team yet, and his team will be coming at some point, hopefully, and we'll have to see from there. So with all that being said, let's move on to number 5, and that is Android 21. Now, Android 21 is pretty cool. I'm actually a big fan of this unit, just because it's something unique, and she's just something that you don't see all the time, right? She has unconditional support for Ki, which is very nice. And then we'll just kind of break this down, right? Androids, Majin Power, or Peppy Gals. A certain Majin Power unit just got a buff that made him like one of the best units in the game, and it's this bad boy right here. He is extremely good. This Boo-Tanks is crazy, and he fits right in on 21's team. 21's team. So let's break down what 21 is doing. Like I said, unconditional Ki support, plus an additional attack and defense plus 120 when attacking, and a high chance of evading enemies' attack within the same turn, so high chance to dodge, very nice. Additional Ki 2 and attack plus 60 for 3 turns after dodging an attack. So if you put her in slot 1, you're going to have that dodge chance the next time you see her, but you don't even need to do that, to be honest. You could have her in slot 2 and she'll be just fine. She'll have that dodge chance going into the next turn with that as well. Launched an additional attack that has a high chance of becoming a super attack, then launches yet again another additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. Starting with the turn, character performs the 3rd attack. So usually you're going to see that the second time you see them. And then disables the attacked enemy's action once within the turn when the character performs a 6th attack in battle. Only a 1 time, excuse me. But she's going to be getting that a decent bit, I would say, when you are in these longer events, right? And then a great chance of performing a critical hit starting from the character's next attack after the 6th one. So very nice. And then you also have the transformation, and can be activated from the 5th turn, basically from the start of the battle, when you're facing one enemy, which is most of the fights in the game right now. And then we're going to be transforming. You get the 30% HP healing. You get attack and defense plus 210% at the start of the turn, which is very nice. The Ki support's still there. Ki 2, and then attack and defense 121% when attacking. Then we have damage reduction, and we also have, we have plus an additional defense plus 60 after receiving an attack. So getting hit first kind of sucks, but that's why you'd want them in slot 2. Launches 2 additional attack. Each would have a great chance of becoming a super, and then recovers 21% HP with 60% is when HP is 60% at the end of the turn. So if she takes like a big super and doesn't die, we're going to get that heal up, which is nice. She gets an active skill, which raises her attack, causes ultimate damage, gets an action break. She has action breaking. She's got damage reduction. She's got dodge chance, we have critical chance built in, we have defensive raising on super, a decent leader skill, Majin Power and transformation boost is okay. Her leader skill isn't phenomenal, but I do like the utility that this unit has, and I think all in all, she is going to be very good going forward. I think she just needs a couple more pieces to really push herself to the top, but she is a phenomenal unit as of now, and I think I like her at the number 5 spot. So now we get into number 4, God Goku. God Goku fits on the superheroes team, goes into where Beast Gohan's leader skill is, so that counts for a decent bit. I'm sure most of you know how God Goku works at this point. You need 6 orbs to get the guard, you get the dodge chance, all that fun stuff. Let's at least talk about it so we have everything that we need. Where are you at, right? So let's see. Randomly changes Ki spheres, starts for 6 turns, right? And then we have plus a medium chance of evading enemies' attack, right? Launches. Where's our fun little orb? Here we go. Launches an additional super attack and guards all attacks for 6 or more Ki spheres obtained. So I'm sure most of you guys know about this. This is the only way that people like to evaluate this unit, is when he has his 6 orbs and when he doesn't. Because, you know, they talk about how the 6 orbs is essentially guaranteed, but if you get unlucky with the orbs, you might be in a little bit of trouble and you are just relying completely on the dodge. So that's why I don't love everything about this unit, but I do think he is worthy of this spot just based on the way that this guy's set up. I mean, look at all these teams, guys. This is 18 teams right here. So he's going to be fitting on a lot, right? Like I said, we're on Miraculous Awakening, so we're on the Gohan team, but we are not on superheroes because we're on movie heroes. So Miraculous Awakening covers him there. And then I'm not seeing, I don't believe he is on the, he's not on the 200%. Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure. Yeah, not on the 200%, so you do have to keep that in mind. And my chair wanted to speak up because now it's squeaking. But you can see here, we do have a decent bit with this guy. I think the issue is you're never really going to be transforming him, but the link set that he has, the defensive utility he has with the guard and the dodging, as well as the attack prowess that he can put out, I say is more than enough to put this guy at the spot that he's at. He's just a very versatile unit that's going to be fitting on most teams going forward, and that's why I have him as high as I do. So now, number 3, Hirudegarn. Hirudegarn, I think, is extremely impressive, but we'll keep this one short and sweet. The issue with him is he is extremely dodge reliant. And if he does not get those dodges, you die. So it's a great chance. So that should be good. But unfortunately, it's just the consistency sometimes with this guy is not here. But he is extremely, extremely, extremely impressive offensively, right? Like there's a lot that this guy is doing for us. Attack and defense was 200%, start a turn. Key 3, attack and defense was 100%, and high chance to perform a crit for 5 turns. That's very good. We have a great chance to evade. And then additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super, in which you get the dodge. And then we get defense plus 10% for each attack evaded. So we'll get up to a maximum of 50%. I wish on his super attack, he does permanently stack defense, but I wish he would have gotten some offensive raising. But if we go into the complete Harudegarn, we have attack and defense plus key 3, 250%, start a turn. You get additional attack and 150% when attacking, and then additional attack and defense plus 100%, and a high chance to perform a crit is the first attacker. So slot 1, you're just really hoping for that dodge, and if you don't get it, you're going to be in trouble. So you can see everything here. Hopefully you know a decent bit about this Harudegarn. I like his link set. You know, brutal beatdowns, decent. We have big bad bosses, nightmare, fierce battle. Berserker I don't like. Fear and faith is okay. If we look at his linking partners, he's very Harudegarn and very Janemba based. Can't show more for some reason. There we go. But not the best linking partners in the world, but who knows as time goes on. We're closer to this guy getting an easy A than we are further away, so we shall see. This Rose is okay, but you're not really going to be running him on a team with that, so lacking in the linking partner department, but you know, that is what it is. Let's go back to the active skill condition just so we know where he transforms when HP is 70% or less after 3 turns have elapsed, or 6 turns have elapsed. You get it unconditionally, so that is something to keep in mind. I'm a big fan of this unit, but I think 3 is the best spot for him, because when we go to number 2, I have Gamma 2 or Gamma 1. Now Gamma 1, this one's tricky. What I really like about this guy is he's on the superhero team. The Gammas, the LR Gammas have given him a huge buff. We can also slide our number 1 spot in, but the introduction of the LR Gammas, as well as the introduction of Beast Gohan and the superhero team just being far and away the best team, just has to put this guy in that in that spot for the consistency that he's bringing. He has the guard, he has the damage reduction, you're getting the attack buffs, you have the super counter. Is it the count? He has the counter, right? Or is it? Yeah, because I think Gamma 1 has the null, or Gamma 2 has the nullification. Yeah, and then this guy has the counter. So, like I said, attack plus 50% and guard activated for 4 turns, which is very good. And you're also going to be building up that guard when the defense goes away. And then we also have a damage reduction up to 50%. So he's going to keep that baseline 50% damage reduction. We have a medium chance to perform a critical hit. Then we have defense support as well as key. And then we have the chance to counter supers. So that is what I like about this guy. He's very simple, but he's also always going to be holding it down. And like I said, the introduction of these Gammas and the buffs that he got to Gamma 2 and the LR Gammas, as well as Beast Gohan being on the team to give the taunts and stuff like that, really gives this guy a buff. But I don't want to go too long into it. This video is already long enough as is. Let's go ahead and talk about our number 1 spot, and that is Dragon Fist Goku. Now, I'm a big fan of this Dragon Fist Goku, right? We have a medium chance to perform a crit, attack and defense plus 200%, start a turn. We've got a Movie Heroes and Kamehameha is essentially the team you're going to be running this guy with the 200%. That's a very good 200% leader skill. Movie Heroes and Kamehameha, they blend pretty well together. We have greatly raising attack and defense, or greatly raising attack for 1 turn. We're raising defense on super. We have a medium chance to perform a critical. We have a 50% chance to dodge attacks, and then attack and defense plus 150% when performing a super attack. And then we have 159% to attack and defense and gaining a chance to perform a critical hit and a chance to evade enemies' attack as the 2nd or 3rd attacker in a turn. So if you have a slot 1, you put this guy in slot 2 and he's going to be a Giga Chad. Then we have a gain an additional attack plus 159, perform a hit, critical hit plus 50% when HP is 59% or less. And then we can nullify unarmed super attacks. So that's not the best super attack condition, but at least he does have that nullification. And then when we go into standby mode, we are able to use when HP is 70% or less after 3 turns, or after 6 turns, same thing as Harudegarn. And we go into this one right here. We have unable to attack, but we get attack and defense plus 330% until once the finish happens. Then we have gain an additional attack plus 159% for first turn from appearance. Great chance to evade the attacks. Gain an additional a chance to evade enemy attacks by 20% when HP is 59% below. Very nice. We have a Scouter, which I'm sure you guys know how overpowered a Scouter is. We get Key 3 and 59% defensive support, and an additional attack that was 333% and evade enemy attacks during the turn when the finish is activated. So when we do the Dragon Fist, I'm sure you guys understand why I think this guy is number 1 with the standby. Not many TURs have a standby quite like this. Or 23rd World Tournament Goku standby is just kind of like setting him up to lose and then get the revival, but this guy is just set up to do a big attack, and all in all, I think he is worthy of the number 1 spot. So like I said, let me know down below what you guys think of this list. I know this was a lot of talking, but just wanted to try out the TURs because I know that's all the fuss right now. So like I said, let me know what you think of the list down below. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.